You've seen the scene before. An engineer turns up at a primary school. Lanyard, slide deck, high vis, the full works. 29 9-year-olds all sitting down on the assembly floor, all ready to go. The teacher hoping that this all lands. And at the end, a massive round of applause. You tick the STEM enrichment box. This is a win. This is a huge win. But by Friday, almost none of the children can tell you what that engineer did for a living. This is generally how industry meets education in this country. In every country. But this doesn't work, and not for the reason most people think. In every single classroom, we have children who are going to do something extraordinary, but they just don't know it yet. What they need is someone to open the door, to show them what's available. By the end of this video, you're gonna have a 3-part framework to be that person who shows these kids what's on the other side of the door next Monday for free. So why doesn't this model work? Well, there's one engineer in the room, and there are 30 kids with 30 different futures. In that room, there's a kid who wants to be a vet, a paramedic, a chef, a YouTuber, a primary school teacher, an engineer, a computer scientist. There's children who don't know what they want to do yet. There are even children who know exactly what they want to do, but they're just a little bit shy to say anything. The one engineer who comes along is able to reach those children who are interested in engineering. It's just that the other 28 sit there politely for an hour and forget the lot by Friday. And the thing is, we can't fix this by bringing more people into school. There's no budget for it. There's no time for it. And really, there aren't enough people in STEM to do this around the country every single Tuesday for free. The numbers just don't add up, and they never will. So we need to stop trying to bring the world into our classrooms and instead bring the world into our own lessons. And here's the thing, it sounds like a lot of work. It sounds like hours and hours after school just prepping, hoping that something lands with these kids. No. Here's what we've learned. It's basically 3 moves that turns a lesson into a doorway. And don't worry, loads of examples are coming up shortly. The first is anchoring it. Where does this thing that you're trying to teach live in the real world? Who uses it? In what jobs? On what problems? Tell them where all this goes once they leave the classroom. Tell them about a real human alive right now doing all of this stuff. And more importantly, name them. Because children don't connect with phenomena, they connect with real practitioners. That's the reason practitioners get the buzz they do when we bring them in. Tell them about someone who's actually done this and is doing this in the real world. We can do essentially the same thing without the visit, just by naming people. And we can do this all the time. And the third is to project this onto the child. Don't just stop at, this is what this person does. Tell them, well, if you carry on learning about this stuff and you go far enough, you will be that person. And there's absolutely no doubt about it. Because you have to remember, these kids aren't just spectators in the room. They're listening to you, they're learning. One day to hopefully do something extraordinary. That's what's on the line here, and it's our job to make that visible. So, how do we actually deliver this? Okay, so example 1, year 4 kids learning about forces. Okay, firstly, let's anchor it. Forces are what every single building, bridge, or skyscraper has to deal with. A reason a building doesn't fall over is because someone properly calculated the forces. Now, a reason a building does fall over is because someone incorrectly calculated the forces. It's quite simple, right? So now for the consequence story. Look out the window in central London and you'll see the shard. The tallest building in the UK. On a windy day, the top of the shard sways 0.5 meter from side to side. That's huge. It just moves this much. And this is very, very deliberate. The engineers who designed this calculated exactly how much the building needed to sway in order for it to stand up during heavy winds. This is all pre-calculated, all because of the forces that your kids are learning in your classroom. And then you project it onto the child. The forces that the kids are learning today are the exact same forces that the engineers use to calculate how much the shard should sway by. Should sway by. That's a bit of a tongue twister. The kids in your class could be the reason a building stays up in a heavy storm in 2050. Okay, example 2, year 3 science, photosynthesis. It's always such a hard word. Okay, we anchor it. The reason there's any food on this planet is because of photosynthesis. That is case closed. You know it, the kids know it. This is a fundamental part. Every single meal that anyone's eaten, every single animal that's been born, all because of photosynthesis. Great anchor right here. Okay, so what are the consequences now? Well, without this element of science of photosynthesis, there is no us. There's nothing. We fundamentally need it to survive. Well, what about the consequences? Well, there's a scientist called Julian Hibbert who works at Cambridge, and what he's trying to do is redesign rice, one of the most eaten foods on this planet. Basically, so it photosynthesizes more efficiently. If he gets this right, the same amount of land could feed billions of more people. just think about that. Just by re-engineering rice, you could feed billions more. I mean, that is incredible. He's basically rewriting how this crop works. And then we just project onto the child what the child is learning about photosynthesis. Are the fundamentals of what Julian Hibbert is using to re-engineer this rice to be able to feed billions more. Both of them. But Julian Hibbert started exactly the same place as your kids in that class, learning about photosynthesis. It's amazing. Here again, the kids in your classroom could be designing food for half the planet in 2040. Example 3, coding. And I get it. In schools, coding it's like the side of a petri dish. It's kind of a bit scared of that. We don't really know what to do. It's always a bit abstract. Fear not, you don't need to be a coder to understand the importance of it and where it's used. The simplest way to anchor this is just by looking around us. Every piece of technology, whether the camera I'm using, the laptop here, the screen, everything is coded in some way, shape or form. All the code that your kids are learning, whether it's Scratch, Python, whatever, all of it falls on the same principles that we use all around us. Firstly, it's accurate. Coding is universal writing instructions for basically every single computer there is. Every app, every game, every website uses code in some shape or form. So what are the consequences of this? Where does this become real? Well, there was this guy called Dong Nguyen from Vietnam who made this game called Flappy Bird. Now you might have seen this before. He coded this all himself and literally overnight it flooded the App Store. Basically every single phone had this game of Flappy Bird. It was so addictive, so much fun. People competing across the world for the highest score. Now let's just think about the stakes here. This was made by one person at one desk and it covered basically the entire planet. Everyone with a smartphone had played it in some way, shape or form. And to project on the child, well, code is universal. It travels globally. The Scratch, the Python that they're learning today could end up being a major component in something that they might design many years to come. And believe me when I say this, code is universal. It travels lightning quick. So those are 3 really good examples of where you basically bring the practitioner into the classroom to explain to your kids, why is this so important? What is so amazing about this subject that we're learning today? And if you're feeling a little bit unsure, you don't quite know what practitioner will be relevant, how do I figure this out? Well, ChatGPT or Claude is your answer. Any basic LLM will be able to help you out here. Ask your AI tool for real people that link what you're teaching to the real world. One quick thing is just make sure you verify this person on Google just afterwards, just so you're extra sure that the information that your kids go home with is 100% correct. So we've gone through 3 lessons: forces, photosynthesis, and coding, all with a practitioner that we brought into the classroom. Now, just imagine if this was to happen every single day. Every single lesson. Your kids are gonna have such a broad understanding of the real world. Why all of these little bits that you're teaching them is so important. You're no longer just the teacher who taught them Pythagoras. You're teaching them this is exactly where Pythagoras is needed on a day-to-day basis. And without it, these are the consequences. I mean, it just lands so much harder. The kids they're gonna feel empowered with this information. Like if I carry on going down this route, if I carry on learning about this, then maybe I'll be designing the next shard. It's so empowering, and you can do this every single lesson. The visiting engineer turns up once a year, and it's great that they turn up, it's amazing. But what about all the other children? You're going to turn up every single day, armed with this knowledge. The 2 minutes you put aside just to quickly research this on a Wednesday morning will stick with the kids forever. So anchor it, find a consequence story to a real person, and just project it to the children. Honestly, do this consistently across a year, and you'll outperform anyone who comes to the school, because now the lever is you, every Tuesday morning doing the work. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you'd like some extra tips or anything else in the world of STEM that you think we need to start bringing into schools, put a note in the comments. Thanks, and see you in the next one.